So, Camille, are you and Emily going to have kids? Sorry to pry.
I mean, yeah. I hope so, unless, one of
The
our
rest of that sentence was with us.
Is this a new thing?
Well, you've heard of these kid partnerships, right?
No.
You find another couple who you admire.
It's like a key party.
Yeah, it's like a key
But
party,
with kids,
but it's forever.
like co-raise our kids for the night.
It's called a womb blast.
Yeah.
And you just switch babies?
No. We just say to you, so Camille and Emily, like, you guys are having kids?
Yeah, you have your own kid, but then after a while, it's our kid.
And our kid is
if
your
we
kid.
like it.
Oh.
It's called a womb blast. And we have parties, and we all hang out together. It's basically like a play date, but just like more
Forever.
official. Yeah.
No, but the reason
Yes, we are, I think, and if our stuff works, we will have a kid, yeah.
So, we're talking about gender politics. Politics doesn't even work as a word for the issue at hand. Talking about like what does gender mean? How much is gender an artificial construct in a world where we've started to understand that race is an artificial construct? Like how much do we owe it to ourselves to think of gender as an artificial construct?
I don't get. I don't. Maybe I'm just being thick right now. I don't understand what your hang-up is. Like, what's the
like gender roles, right?
Yeah, but
my hang-up is that in the 1950s, if you were to take your kid into the garage and close the garage door and train the kid to be racist, we now know through the lens of 2014 how to recognize what you're doing right and wrong with the child.
Yeah.
We can actually, in a sort of empirical sense, we can define bad child rearing to the extent that you are raising your child to be conscious of race.
So what's your concern about having a child?
My question is, how does that work with gender?
Emily has friends, they're lesbian, and they have a kid, and they are raising the baby gender neutral, and the baby is female, and the baby has a female name, but what they're doing is nothing is blue and nothing is pink, and it's not dolls and it's not action figures, so the baby's playing with toys that a boy or a girl could play with, but it's hard because they asked, Emily's mom, who's very close to the couple, they asked to give the kid gender-neutral stuff, and so the mom bought her, my mother-in-law, and she was trying her best. She just couldn't. She bought her like a flower bow that was purple instead of pink.
Right.
And she said, so purple is like a male color.
But this is this is a key issue. Toys R Us. You walk into it. Aisle 3, aisle 4, aisle 5, aisle 6, aisle 7. They're based on ages of children. They're also based on genders of children. I don't know if they've tried, capitalism, so if you're a same-sex couple, your lesbian friends are having a kid, they make the decision, we're going to have a gender-neutral child. We're not going to fuck with this child gender-wise. We're not going to. Now, they're also in this larger colony.
Yeah, sure. It's impossible to avoid.
To what extent are you?
The thing is more about not saying because the kid is playing with trucks that they're gay or straight or male or female.
Nobody's doing that to a kid. Nobody.
No.
Maybe some parent somewhere out there might be going, "Hey, faggot, stop playing with that truck."
I mean, I'm sure
that's not
kids,
the right. That's a very straight thing to do.
It's very in vogue to give kids both things. I'm sure there are kids here. I'm sure there are people here who have young children who. Does anyone here have kids?
Perfect. Yep, that feels right.
Oh, someone back there has kids.
So you
with your hands, like the as a nanny in Los Angeles, and maybe this is different in other places, but like it's very uncool to suggest to a child that they should be playing with a certain thing. But kids tend to be attracted to one or the other, but it doesn't mean anything.
But I do think it comes from, like you said, the larger society. It's almost impossible to raise a kid completely gender neutral because, as you said, there are these sort of roles and things, and that's just how it is. Like,
Well,
kids
she
marketed
said
to
give
boys.
them both things. Both things. There's two things.
But it's going to be hard even when the kid goes to school and it's like, the boys play with the things that murder and the girls play with things that have great shoes, So, but that is going to happen. I mean, we're conditioned. When you're a kid, look at the fucking commercials for kids' toys on TV. Like, it's all sort of, it's either one or the other. And that's really...
But the thing to do is that if your little girl is playing with trucks and is talking about murdering cowboys or whatever, is to not say, you
let her murder cowboys.
Maybe I'm talking about myself. But the thing is to not, like, the quote unquote gender neutral thing is to not say, this child, she's a lesbian, like at 4 years old. Well, she's clearly a lesbian. She likes these trucks. She doesn't like these dolls. She whatever. It's just about allowing kids to do whatever, because in previously when a little girl would play with a truck, that was bad. They would take the truck away and vice versa.
Do you take your kid through Toys R Us and let the kid...
Yes, which is not a crazy idea.
That's probably how it's...
They get to play with whatever.
And that's a good small
So you sort of
step.
let the kid be the guide. The kid, but we are living within a dichotomy, though.
And the kid is being guided by other stuff other than the parents, and it's good that the parents are trying. I remember specifically at some point being like, I'm going to learn to walk more manly. I remember thinking that, and no one told me or made fun of me of the way I walked, but, I mean, look at me walk. I walk fucking manly now. But I remember that pressure came, and even if nobody tells you, it's all there. It is a dichotomy. It's hard to avoid.
Dan and Aaron, you guys are engaged. You're going to be married probably within a year or so, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you already thinking about kids? Have you talked?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that where this comes from? Any part of this conversation or no?
No, I don't know why we're talking about gender. The guy gave a book. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm riffing.
Is the guy? That guy's not in the crowd, is he? The guy who wrote that book.
If he was, he left.
Okay.
But let's say you guys had a kid, and let's say it was pick at random, guy or girl.
Guy.
Okay, so you had a boy. How would you approach that? What would be your? Would you have a
slowly, carefully?
I would lovingly fondle his privates.
I would kiss his balls.
I'm already doing it wrong.
He was great.
What if it's a girl?
I would call him King Harmon.
As long as you would lovingly fondle her privates too, like as long as it's equal.
Yeah.
It's called a wraparound, Jeff. Reach around. With a baby, it's called a wraparound.
I have a million questions. I would be very happy with if I was blessed enough that we were able to conceive a child.
What would your first choice be, boy or girl?
I honestly,
first choice. If you had to pick.
Let's say on the count of three.
You had to pick.
Lately,
1,
lately,
2.
I've been thinking I'd rather have
3.
a girl.
Boy.
Because all I can do is be ironic. And the circumcision issue weighs very heavy on me.
Oh,
really?
yeah, that's tough. wouldn't want my son to go through that, or my daughter.
Well, we could take our daughter to Guana and get her circumcised.
Oh, I know some places here.
And I feel like same-sex children tend to target. In puberty, they target the same-sex parent.
Been reading a lot of Homer.
I like the idea of just having a little girl that's like daddy's little girl and starts to hate you when she's 12. I'm like, come on, take it easy on your mom. She tries hard.
I mean,
instead of the old slug out and prom night.
All right, but Dan,
no, fuck you, old man.
Dan, let's say you had a boy. Let's say you had a boy, and it's like he and his it's time for little league or soccer or whatever. Like
yeah, fuck you. Yeah.
Little satchel.
No, I would love to have a little boy, and I'm not like if I know that the way karma works is I will have a kid and he will be very into football. I know that.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I think
it's fine.
I wasn't ever good at sports.
I'm psyched about football. Like already I'm like psyching myself up about football for my kid's sake. And I swear to God, he'll never see a typewriter.
He won't be able to read.
Because they don't exist anymore, most of it.
It'll be a little secret I keep.
I felt afraid on many occasions of having a girl.
Yeah, you should. They're terrible.
See, now we're getting to it.
They're terrifying people.
I mean, I know this is...
But they love their dads.
Well, not necessarily. Shout out to my dad, who I love very much, who very much wants to perform our wedding.
Perform at your wedding or perform?
No, because my dad is a preacher. He wants to.
Oh, he's a preacher.
Yeah.
He wants to officiate the wedding?
Yes, and we will not allow him to officiate the wedding because he's so great.
Because you don't want.
He's so good at being a wedding officiant that you feel like you don't deserve it.
I've always felt since I was very young when my dad would randomly say like, "Well, I'll perform your wedding." I've always felt really weird about that.
He says perform?
Yeah, you perform a wedding.
You perform like a rite.
My dad has performed hundreds of weddings.
All right, so hey, if you have a kid...
But really quick on this subject, and I'm so sorry, but I was a nanny in LA for many years, not a parent, but the gender thing like becomes really unimportant. Like.
Yeah, in LA when everyone's rich and everyone can do whatever they want. No, I'm talking about we're starting a colony. How do you approach things logically? I'm saying, what's the right thing to do? We're all well aware, as Adam Goldberg very succinctly said, we're in LA. It's been cool to be gay here for 80 years. Like we do live in a bit of a bubble, progressively speaking.
I think the thing is to detach gender identity from trucks and dolls and whatever, because everyone is... Like, little kids are attracted to so many different things, and it doesn't mean any sort of thing.
Okay, but so the bottom line is that the kid, like you take a bifurcated approach. You buy a dump truck and a Barbie doll, and you put them in front of them.
Oh no! Or you get also board games. You know, like I think
you just
I don't think
board games.
You know, in my head that was the most gender neutral thing I could think of.
Puzzles, jigsaw puzzles.
Jigsaw puzzles. Yeah.
Well, like my brother and my brother Bill and his wife Jill, they have
Bill and Jill. Yeah. That's unfortunate.
Ask Jeff what his mother's name was.
Phil?
No.
My mother's name was Phil. No, my mother's name was Betty Ann Larson, and she married Dwayne Davis. She became Betty Davis.
Betty Davis.
And it suited her because she was a grand diva. But like my brother and his wife, my sister-in-law, they raised their daughter. They didn't want to give her princess costumes before she was too old to choose them. Sure. Like no like overtly girly stuff. As time has passed. Maddox, my niece, has just absolutely on her own. She doesn't watch TV. She doesn't watch any commercials. She has never watched TV. She does not know. Like they asked her, "What do you want for Christmas?" Or for your birthday. She just turned 5. They said, "What do you want?" She goes, "A new water bottle."
Water
to take to school.
Water
because she doesn't watch. She's not inundated with advertising
practical
that says you should have this ridiculous thing or this incredibly feminine thing or male thing or whatever the fuck. But on her own terms, she has started dressing up like princesses and fairies because she's into that, and that was never put on her. She has just gravitated towards costumes. And what they made for her 5th birthday was a big wardrobe, and they filled it with costumes. Gender neutral, male, female. There's cowboys, cowgirls, princesses.
They give her water.
Is that what she was asking for?
They listened to her. They gave her latitude, and gradually, as she became, she's a very advanced. Like she was advanced 2-year-old. She was advanced 3 and 4 and 5-year-old. She very clearly made her own decisions about what she would like to. Walk around the house.
I bet if we didn't make kids choose, I would have chosen a dress too. Like they're so much prettier.
Oh, they're pretty. Yeah.
Well, also look at those eyelashes. Holy shit!
Yeah, I know, right?
Well, like, my mother very clearly. I really feel like my mother was hoped that I was a girl because she had 2 girls in her first marriage, and then she married my dad, and my brother was the firstborn, and that marriage was a boy. he was my father's boy more, and then when I came along, I really feel like I was supposed to be a girl.
Yeah.
So much of my childhood was spent dressed in tights and dancing and doing things like that. And I really feel like I ought to have been a girl as far as my mom was concerned.
I didn't get it out of my system until I came here, and my first 3 Halloweens, I dressed as a woman. That was my costume.
What were the costumes? Just woman?
Just me wearing a gown.
Just lady.
I was just a lady.
I would be a lady
in a
again.
frat way or in a?
In a frat way?
Well, because there are always frat guys who are dressing as girls.
I felt very pretty. I didn't feel like a frat guy.
You have no frat element to you. You know what I mean?
There's a thing like when I was in like high school, college. There was a thing where girls loved to put me in women's clothing, and it was they just like to dress certain friends of theirs up. They always loved to put me in women's clothing. I was always totally fine with it.
Kind of a turn on, right?
If it's a turn on for them, like it's fine. Like it didn't really ever mean anything to me. I didn't do it on my own. But however, I love dressing up as a woman. It's great. It's fucking. It feels fine. But I just don't see like why you would force it on. What's the point of like putting on a child that there's an idea that you have to do one way or the other?
I don't think anyone would do it unintentionally. Intentionally.
I mean, like
no one would do it like.
I grew up in Los Angeles. I was taught how to throw. My dad taught me how to throw a curveball and a changeup and a slider and all this stuff. And I learned how to do all this manly stuff. Also, I was dancing. I got so much femininity and so much masculinity, and not in any dogmatic way on either side. I'm the product of a very Los Angeles lifestyle. I grew up in a theater.
Because you were doing all those plays, and because you were in The King and I, did your dad ever do any sort of like, hey?
No, I mean, I had friends when I was 4 years old. There was a guy that directed the first play I was in. He was very clearly, even to a 4-year-old me, I knew that he was a queen. He was a big, like flouncy, Oscar Wilde-y, like awesome, like grand theater queer. Like, he was awesome. And he was my mother's friend throughout her entire life until she died. And he was a part of my life. And I grew up in the theater, and there were clearly people that, before I knew what sexuality was, before I'd ever had an erection, before I knew what the difference between male and female anatomy was, I did know that there were people in my life that weren't the way I was supposed to be. My parents weren't dogmatic about it. I became the most homophobic person in the world because of the theater. Because my parents weren't homophobic, my parents weren't dogmatic, but I feel like I must have talked about this in the show before, or maybe not. I was 9 years old, or even younger. I had dressers, and they were the great, like late 70s, early 80s queens, and they'd make out in front of with each other in front of me. And I asked my hairdresser when I was like 9 or 10.
Your hairdressers would make out in front of you?
Yeah.
Were you getting
celebrate?
Were you getting terrible haircuts?
No. You're getting made up before a play.
Oh, okay.
So I was on Broadway. I was 10 years old, and I had a dresser and a hairdresser.
Wait, what? You were on Broadway?
Yeah, we've talked about
The King
it.
and I, yeah.
No, I did not know this.
With Yul Brynner.
What is your life?
So I was in The King and I with Yul Brynner when I was a kid, and so I had a.
That's fucking crazy. With Yul Brynner?
Yes.
Yeah, Camille, you've never seen a sexier kid.
Shit, dude.
So I had this dresser named Gordon who was great, and he was so funny, and he would the costumes were really hard to get out of. There's like tons of hooks and snaps and shit like that. There were all these old, really ridiculous old costumes, and then a guy that he was kind of dating was his hairdresser guy that would come in, and they would just like French kiss in front of me, and I was 10, and then 11, and I asked the younger guy who was probably like in his mid 20s, I said like, so did you know you were gay all the time? Like, did you always know you're going to be gay? He goes, oh, no, I didn't know until I was 18. I was like, oh, wait. Don't say that.
That could happen to you.
Say you always knew. Because not that I felt like I was ever going to get punched or beaten or ostracized if I did grow up to be like a good, like 70% of the people in that production were gay. And sadly, and absolutely truly, almost all of them dead. Because from AIDS, because that was this.
Well,
was,
I mean, that was a big crazy.
This was the the early days of that.
What was it? 80s?
Yeah, this is 84, 85. I was on that show, and like most of that production is gone, including I think these guys. And so this guy told me, he's like, no, like I thought I was straight until I was 18. I got so homophobic and so worried about that only because of my
Being gay is hard, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, and you wouldn't choose it as a young boy. And I was literally taken off the pitcher's mound to go audition for The King and I, embarrassingly so by my mom. And so when I went home at night, and if the last thing I did before I went to bed was close a magazine and it was a picture of a guy, I would keep looking until there was a picture of a woman. But to the point of like mania. And if I was watching TV, I would turn the TV off, and if right last second was a guy, turn it back on, and wait until there's a picture of a woman, because if the last image in my mind was a picture of a man, that being straight or gay was this toss of the coin. And
maybe that's what that guy did. He turned the TV off when it was a guy at 18, and he turned gay.
As a 10 or 11-year-old, that was the world that I thought we lived in. And then one day, when I was 12 years old, like laying in bed, I just went, "Oh, I like women."
Yeah.
And went to bed and never did that again. But that wasn't because anybody told or beat it out of me or whatever. But there was a big point in my life where I felt like I really have to come to grips with the fact that I might not know this until I'm much older than I am right now, and that will be okay. But it won't be okay because it's fucking hard. You'll get treated like shit. You'll get pushed around.
Well, this is something that you're able to articulate at the age of 40, looking back on it, because it's as clean cut as straight versus gay, and that's what I'm talking about. Because we're entering a world now where we're becoming increasingly conscious of the pressures of gender identity, and it's not as clean cut as straight or gay with gender identity. You don't know how feminine you're allowed to be or supposed to be, or how masculine you're allowed to be or supposed to be. This isn't about straight or gay. Straight or gay comes down to that's our struggle to turn gender politics into something as clean cut as racial politics, because your skin is brown or your skin is white and you had sex with a man and put your mouth on his penis, or you didn't. We have friends of Harmontown who come up here who look like dudes and act like dudes and identify as women in their hearts and their minds, and it's incumbent upon us. I'm just curious, as a guy who's thinking about having a kid in this new world, and also as a philosophical thought exercise, I'm asking the question. It doesn't look what goes through the young brain.
Yeah.
Look what carries through to the 40-year-old adult about when you felt like gender was being projected onto you, your sexual roles and stuff.
I went into in the King and I dressing room. There was the dancers' dressing room. There was the women's dressing room for the dancers, the chorus, and the men's. And I would say there's probably about 20 or 25 apiece. And in the men's dressing room, there were only a couple straight guys in that. Most of the dancers were gay guys, and they always had, kind of ironically, wherever we traveled, we did like 13 cities together. There'd be two calendars next to each other. One was a calendar of all like hot firemen and like naked dudes, and then one of naked women. But it was only for one or two guys.
Sure.
And it was always like they did it like out of equality, and so I was 10 years old, and my friend, my understudy Luke, we went down.
You had an understudy.
I had
That's fucking crazy.
I had
dude.
7 understudies because they wouldn't let us not do the show. That's a whole other story. They would even when I was sick and I chipped a whole front tooth off and I lost my voice. They would not let you not go on, even though you wanted your understudy to go do it. They wouldn't let the principal.
You were just so good.
No, they just had this weird climate of they did not want the understudies to go out there.
He was also, Camille, have you seen a picture of Jeff as a kid?
No, I mean, I'm scared.
Is there anybody in the audience? I would imagine.
I wasn't done with the story, real quick. So I walked in with Luke down there, and we were looking at he and I were both looking at the only, we weren't exposed to a lot of pictures of naked women, so we saw these calendars. It was right next to like naked guys, and then there was the naked girls, and we're looking at them. And there was a dude in the fucking cast, God bless him, a Hawaiian guy named Kaipo, who was just as gay as a day in May. He was so fucking... but he would always kind of harangue us. And he's like, "Hello, Jeff. I know which calendar you're really looking at." I was like, "Kaipo,
I'm 10 years old.
I'm fucking 10.
Inappropriate.
He gave me a fucking lighter one time. He and this dude Stanley gave me a fucking lighter, and they had a lighter cover. It was a regular Bic lighter, but it was inserted into a penis that you could flip the head of the penis off and open and light the cigarette. And Kaipo was like, Jeff, could you get this out? I can't get it out. It's stuck. And he just sat there and watched. I didn't get the joke. I was just struggling with this fake plastic penis, trying to. And they sat there giggling, and then like halfway through, I'm like, oh, you motherfuckers! like it was the theater. They treat you like an adult, but it was fucking open season on sexuality there.
Yeah, I feel like for me I think having a kid is so scary anyway. I think you do the best you can, and I mean, it's a job. Everybody has wonderful parents, right? And we all have problems with them. We're all signing up for a job that no one in history has ever nailed. No one's ever gotten it exactly right. And we're like, yeah, we're going to fucking try it. We're going to be the ones.
All right. You know what's crazy is Christmas shopping at Target and walking down the aisles. I was looking for a catchphrase game because we were going
Gender neutral toy, yeah.
Gender neutral. And just seeing, because all of my friends who have kids are raising their kids, quote unquote, gender neutral, which I guess just means letting your kid follow whatever they'd like, which I think most parents do. But the rows for girls, pink, like really pink.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And then the rows for boys are black and blue. Like it really feels like you have to choose between the two.
It's so strong.
It's weird.
I remember always my life, until I was like in my 20s, being very obsessed with seeming masculine. And I was like a little kid. I was skinny.
Show us the walk. Show us the walk.
Oh, I don't know. No. I remember I was like, the key to having a good walk is to act like you don't give a shit what your walk looks like. So I would give a shit about having a walk that looked like I didn't give a shit.
Do you know how old you were?
I was probably 12 or something.
When I was 8, I felt like I was too masculine, so I created a laugh that was more feminine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
Oh. Well, have you seen
Can you
the
do
Looney Tunes? Yeah. Have you seen the Looney Tunes witch when she leaves hairpins behind? I saw that and I thought that was a height of femininity for some reason. So my laugh that I created was really. Bummer.
I remember there was this dude Eugene who was like the funniest dude in 7th grade. And then he went away for the summer, and then he came back, and he had decided that he was going to be like Eddie Murphy, and he had affected this laugh. I was so bummed out because Eugene was so funny, such a nerdy, funny dude, and then he came back all sexy, drenched in cologne, doing this Eddie Murphy laugh.